What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and today I've got a story time for y'all I think you're really going to enjoy about a time this Minecraft kid ended up breaking my cousin's iPad. My cousin ended up telling me this story when he got home from a family vacation to visit the other side of the family that I'm not related to, but I figured it would be something y'all enjoy because you love a good Minecraft kid freakout. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So I have a cousin who's a little bit older than me, I think by like 5-6 years. Not sure exactly, but definitely a little bit older. And he's the baby of his family, to the point where a lot of his siblings are even older, like 10-15 years older than me. You know, they've got kids, they've got family, the whole shebang. And I don't really know too much about the side of his family that, like, I'm not related to, you know, his mom's side. But I do know that it's a pretty big family with a lot of cousins and nieces and nephews and stuff, and a lot of them are around the age where they really like video games. And obviously, you know, it's not like we talk a ton about it, but he's kind of mentioned that every time he goes home for like a holiday or something, it's just chaos because there's just like dozens of screaming children running all over the place doing what they want. And it tends to be that that side of the family isn't too big on like watching the kids or making sure that they're not getting up to no good. So it just tends to be very stressful. And, you know, he ended up getting back from one of these trips and he goes, "Bro, I've got to tell you about what happened. You literally won't believe it. One of my, cousins, niece, nephew, I don't really know what the terminology would be. One of the younger kids there ended up breaking his iPad to like try to play Minecraft. And obviously I'm like, wait, what happened? So basically it all starts when he gets there, and immediately as soon as he walks through the door, a bunch of these kids run up to him and they're like, hey, do you have an iPad? Do you have an iPad? We want to play Minecraft. You know, before they say hi, before they say happy holidays, before they say anything, the first thing out of their mouth is like, can we have your iPad to play Minecraft? And so my cousin is kind of like, well, you know, I need to talk to your mom and like, you know, grandma first before I give you guys anything, because like, I don't know if you're supposed to be playing Minecraft. I don't know if you're supposed to be on the iPad, and I'm not trying to get in trouble and let you guys do something that you're not supposed to do. And they're kind of protesting. They're like, no, you don't need to tell them. Just like, if you have an iPad, let us play it. Let us play it. And something about that kind of makes his spidey senses tingle. So he goes up and he's like talking to their mom about it. And he's like, the kids said that I could let them play the iPad on Minecraft. And the mom looks at my cousin and says, listen, under no circumstances are they to play Minecraft. They literally have been like annoying everybody here nonstop to play it. When we say no, they throw temper tantrums. Like, no, they're not allowed to play Minecraft. They can go 2 days without playing a video game. And obviously my cousin is like, all right, fair enough. You know, I'm not trying to break the rules here and like go against what the parents want. So no, you can't play Minecraft on my iPad. And when he tells the kids this, they're obviously not too thrilled. You know, they start being like, you're so lame. When did you become like lame? You suck. And he's like, yeah, whatever, I suck. Yep, you know, I'm the absolute worst. You're really making me want to let you play with my iPad by insulting me, whatever. And at the end of the day, it's kids, so it doesn't really matter. Like, if you tell them no, they're not going to be too thrilled. But, you know, he thinks that's going to be the end of it, that they'll let it be. It's not that big of a deal. And so he kind of goes about spending time with his family. You know, he's just hanging out with them. And when he's hanging out with the family, it's not like he has some radar on his iPad, right? It's not like he's keeping a lookout for it, you know. He just knows that he had set it in his backpack in his room. And so later that night, he was talking to his dad about something and wanted to show him this thing he was working on. And it just so happened that the thing he was working on was on his iPad. Now, you know, my cousin, for whatever reason, hadn't made a backup of this, so, like, if the iPad was missing, he wasn't going to be too thrilled, but he was just going to show his dad, so he goes up to his room and he starts looking, and he's like, huh, that's weird, my iPad is no longer in my backpack, and that's bizarre because, I know I left it in my backpack, right? So he, at first, is kind of thinking like, all right, maybe I just misplaced it, I took it somewhere. So he starts tearing apart the room, and his dad comes up because he had been gone for a while, and he's like, hey, what's taking you forever? And he's like, man, I feel insane, but I swear my iPad was in my backpack, and now I don't know where it is. And they're looking, and around that time, you know, the group of kids' mom comes into the room, and she's like, hey, has anyone seen the kids? And at that point, he realizes that not only is his iPad missing, but it's been insanely quiet. You know, usually there's a ton of chaos. It's like the Home Alone house, bro, just absolute chaos, but it's eerily silent. And at that point, he realizes that these kids have 100% taken taken the iPad to play Minecraft. They had probably just gone into the room, found it in his backpack, and were like, hey, finders keepers, losers weepers, but now they're missing. So they start looking around the house and they're like, damn, these kids are hiding. And so as they're looking, they start yelling, where are you? Come out now. This isn't funny. Stop pretending like you're hiding. And the kids are not coming out of hiding, bro. It's like they are committed to keeping this iPad, dude. They're literally going to be hiding until they graduate high school just to make sure that they can watch as much YouTube as humanly possible. And finally, my cousin's dad is like, look, the only place that we haven't checked is the attic. I don't know how they would have gotten in there and like closed the entrance without anyone knowing, but that's got to be where they are. So they pull down the little ladder thing to go into the attic, and they tell my cousin to like go up there and look. And sure enough, he starts coming up the ladder, and as he comes up, he sees the screen kind of reflecting off, and he can see the shadows of everyone watching the iPad. So he yells out like, I see you over there, come back, you guys took my stuff, that's not funny. And he sees like a bunch of eyes turn and look at him, and it's just this group of kids over the iPad, and they're like, we're not giving it back. And he's like, no, you guys, come on, get out of the attic, like this isn't funny. And he's starting to get really annoyed. And at that point, every adult in the house is getting annoyed, because these kids had literally like stolen this iPad, crawled up into the attic, been making everybody look for them for like 40 minutes. And so he kind of starts to be like, look, you guys are going to get out of the attic in the next 10 seconds or like, you're going to be in real trouble. And all of them are kind of like, all right, well then I guess we're going to get in real trouble and at least we'll be able to play the iPad. I don't understand if they knew how these negotiations worked, somehow in their mind keeping the iPad and playing Minecraft was an option. Obviously that wasn't going to be the case. Like even in the best case scenario, bro, you're an incredible negotiator. You kind of lose the ability to keep the iPad once you take it out of their backpack and then proceed to hide and make them search for you for 40 minutes. Like they're probably not going to let you keep it. But anyways, they're kind of arguing back and forth, and at that point my cousin comes back down the ladder and he's like, they're not going to come out. And the kid's mom, or at least some of the kids' mom, is like, all right, well let me get up there and try. So she crawls up there and she's yelling at them in the same thing. They're just not listening. They're like, yo, that sucks. Anyways, we're playing Minecraft, leave us alone. And at that point, the grandpa, my cousin's dad, is like, well, I'm going to go up there and I'm getting the iPad because I don't want them in the attic. This is getting ridiculous. This is disrespectful. So he goes up there and he walks over to him and he takes the iPad. And instead of them being like, fine, you got us, he starts being like, what are you doing? And my cousin climbs back up the attic ladder, and when he looks, dude, this horde of angry iPad kids is just like swarming his dad and being like, give us it back. And they're literally trying to like wrestle the iPad from their grandpa's hands. And at that point, my cousin goes up the ladder to like help his grandpa from this horde of children that are basically being World War Z zombies trying to like, devour the iPad. And he walks over there and he's like, guys, stop, it's just an iPad. And they're like, we want to play Minecraft. And at that point, I guess his dad decided to let go of the iPad. And when he does, the kid that's like hanging on to the other side doesn't go flying, but kind of like poof out of the group, because there's no more person pulling from the other side. And he gets free with the iPad and he goes, I'm making a break for it. And he starts running to go down the ladder to the attic. I don't really know what the escape plan was once he gets to the ladder, because he's like now just in a house with everyone that knows he has the iPad. But regardless, he's making a break for it. And he gets over to like the attic ladder thing. And at that point, my cousin is like right behind him and he goes, give me the iPad. And the kid looks back and realizes that my cousin is close enough that he's not gonna get down this attic ladder without getting caught, right? He's got the iPad, he's made it this far, but he's just caught. There's nowhere to go. Even if he goes down the ladder, his mom's waiting right there, like it's done. And at that point, you think they would have given up and just been like, okay, here's the iPad, I'm really sorry for taking it. But I guess in this kid's mind, he's like, well, if I'm not gonna be able to play Minecraft on the iPad, then no one's gonna use the iPad. Because he proceeds to turn, and instead of going down the ladder himself, he decides to send the iPad down instead. And I don't know if this kid had been watching, NFL Network reruns of the best touchdown celebrations of all time, but the dude ends up spiking the iPad like a football, just basically 8 feet straight down onto this hardwood floor, And obviously my cousin sees him throw it, doesn't see the iPad hits the ground, but hears it, and is like, are you kidding me? And he hears the kid's mom being like, did you just throw the iPad? And the kid who throws it goes, no, I just dropped it. And he's like, no, you didn't. I watched you throw it. And it was almost like once the kid realized that he had been seen throwing the iPad that he messed up, because he starts being like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break it. And my cousin at that point is just pissed. And he's like, yeah, whatever, dude, you didn't mean to break it. I literally just watched you throw it down the ladder. And so at that point, the grandpa's pissed. He's like, everyone out of the attic now. And the way he says it, everybody just kind of knows he's not kidding. So everyone calmly goes to the ladder and crawls down. And as they get off the attic ladder, he's looking at like the hardwood floor where the kid had thrown the iPad. And the way the kid had thrown the iPad, like the corner of it had just hit the hardwood floor. So there's literally like a chunk out of the hardwood floor plank that he had hit. So that's going to cost money to fix. And on top of it, if you've ever dropped like an Apple device right on the corner with any type of force, you know, that screen's probably going to crack. Now you throw it down a ladder with enough time for it to get some momentum behind it right onto the corner. You can assume what this thing looked like. It was one of those iPads that was the thinner models, and so like the screen's all cracked, and it literally was kind of like bent on that corner where he had thrown it onto the ground. And his dad, the grandpa of all these kids, is not happy. He's like, are you guys kidding me? Look what you did to my floor. Do you have any idea how much money that's gonna cost? You guys think that Minecraft was worth it? Like you're entitled to take other people's technology? And the kids are just kind of sitting there getting yelled at. And you know, they're like not really apologizing. They're like, well, if you would have just let us play Minecraft, none of this would have happened, is literally kind of what they're saying. And listen, they're young, so it's not like they're the most expert people on the planet. You know, this isn't an adult on trial in front of lawyers. But you would think by now they would have at least recognized that like, oh, okay, we probably shouldn't have taken his stuff and broken it because now he doesn't have an iPad and that's kind of on us. And my cousin is extremely pissed because he's realizing that like this is messing up not only his iPad, like just breaking something expensive is not fun, but on top of that, like all of this work stuff, all this stuff he was going to show his dad is on the iPad, and he's not 100% that he's got any backups of it anywhere, which listen, hey, kind of on my cousin, but at the same time, it's not like he expected his iPad to be taking skydiving lessons when he was at this family reunion thing, you know, that's just not what you're expecting. But whatever, he's kind of like, look, you guys have really set me back on my work, like, do you feel bad at all? And they're like, no, not really. Like I said, you should have given us the iPad and we could play Minecraft. And at that point, my cousin's like, well, guess what? Your mom's gonna buy me a new iPad now. And the mom is like, I am? You know, kind of confused. And he goes, yeah, your kids just broke my iPad, which is what all my work was on. So like, you're gonna get me a new one. And at that point, an entire new argument breaks out. And honestly, I feel like that's kind of fair. Listen, if your kids are gonna like break this dude's iPad, right? And then not apologize for it and not feel bad, then like, you know, I think you should have bought him a new iPad either way. But you really know him a new iPad if like your kids don't even care that they broke it. But now there's an argument going about, well, why should I have to pay for your iPad? It's your fault that you left it unattended. And he's like, are you kidding me? It was in my backpack in my room. And she's like, yeah, but you know kids are gonna look through your stuff. And he's like, no, I don't. I don't have kids. I didn't realize that I had to put a master lock on my backpack to prevent people from stealing my stuff and breaking it. And at that point, dude, he's like, you know what? I'm getting a hotel. Like, I can't do this. This is ridiculous. And his dad's like, listen, I'll buy you an iPad. And he goes, no, Dad, like, I don't want you to buy the iPad. I want her to buy the iPad or the kids to buy the iPad. Like, you know, don't bail this out. Like, no, this is ridiculous. So whatever, my cousin goes, gets a hotel room, and the entire time he's getting texts from, you know, his sister being like, oh, well, why didn't you, you know, just forgive them? Like, I shouldn't have to buy you a new iPad. And he's like, look, I'm not mad at the kids. Like, I'm really not. I just feel like I need this iPad to work. He was kind of using it as a laptop, like a 2-in-1 type of thing. He's like, I need it to work. It's broken, and like your kids broke it. You know, I'm not angry at them. It's broken. It's too late now, but like, yeah, you've got to buy me a new one. And finally, after arguing, him getting a hotel room, being gone for a day, his sister's like, whatever, I'll buy you a new iPad. But the entire time they were like going to get the iPad, she kept making remarks about how like this is insanely petty and he should have just been fine with like getting one himself. And listen, you know, sure, do I agree that like leaving, storming out, and threatening not to come back until you get an iPad is the greatest decision? No, but at the same time, like, your kids destroyed his stuff. You kind of do gotta replace it. I just don't really understand how you're not responsible for it. You know, sure, did you tell them go steal things? No, but like, your kid spiked the iPad down and like destroyed the hardwood floor. The least you gotta do at that point is replace what was broken. Anyways, he gets his replacement iPad. Everything's all good, but he's guarding it. You know, he's not letting it out of his sight. And what was really funny is like when they get back with the iPad and he's setting it all up. He did lose his work, by the way. That to me is also why it's like, all right, you got to get him it. Because if you ruin his work, it's like, Obviously, should have saved it to the cloud, should have saved it somewhere. You know, that's kind of dumb. But at the same time, you know, he's kind of reworking everything, trying to get as much as he can back. And the entire time he's doing it, his cousins keep coming up to him being like, can I play the iPad? And by the third time he asked, he looked at him and he's like, let me get this straight. You guys destroyed my last one and you think I'm gonna let you play with this one? And even the little kids were kind of like, all right, yeah, fair enough when you say it that way. You know, he wasn't trying to be mean. And if anything, he probably would have let them like play the iPad. But yeah, dude, after you take it out of his backpack and break it, probably not gonna let you play with the replacement. You know, I'm just gonna venture out on a limb here. Either way, it just seemed like a whole bunch of drama over Minecraft and an iPad, dude. If you're ever thinking about nabbing your cousin's iPad, not worth it. But yeah, on that note, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd really appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you're new. And if you really want to help me out, you can check out a link to my Spotify show in the description down below. I post all these there offline without gameplay, so you can listen however you feel like it. Like I said, link in the description. But on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.